Watch this single drop of water fall. See how it pushes perfect, expanding circles across the smooth surface. That familiar rippling pattern happens everywhere. When you speak, your vocal cords push sound through the air in the exact same expanding shape. When you turn on a lamp, light radiates across the room following identical geometric rules. It makes you wonder, if light, sound, and water all move using the same basic rhythm, could the overwhelming complexity of our entire universe be built on a single repeating pattern? This right here is the mathematical formula that captures that repeating pattern. It is called the TMOA Base Field Equation. If you've never taken a physics class, a string of symbols like this probably looks like an alien language, but you don't need a math degree to read it. Think of this formula as a short story divided into 3 simple chapters. By reading those 3 chapters, we gain a universal manual. We learn how to decode the basic instructions that govern how everything in our reality moves and exists. Let's look closely at this first section. This is Chapter 1, establishing the baseline rule for how things travel. It tells us that as an event moves forward in time, its energy spreads out evenly across the surrounding space. That is the exact mathematical description of our water droplet from earlier. The water gets pushed, and that energy has no choice but to distribute itself in perfectly symmetrical circles. Without this reliable relationship between time and space, movement wouldn't happen. It is the absolute starting requirement for anything to exist and travel through our world. Now we move to the middle piece. This second chapter handles extreme differences in size. Whether shrinking to the atomic level to watch a particle vibrate, or zooming out to watch gravity warp across light years, the waves obey the same rules. Nature doesn't write one set of rules for microscopic particles and a completely different set for massive stars. It takes that original blueprint and simply scales the geometry up or down. Because this geometry stretches to fit any container, it connects the behavior of a tiny water molecule directly to a massive black hole. Finally, we reach the last chunk of the equation. This third chapter accounts for collisions and the general messiness of a crowded universe. Space is rarely empty. Those perfectly expanding rings are constantly slamming into obstacles, bouncing off walls, and crashing into other waves. This part of the math calculates what happens during a crash, mapping out the specific clash points where these forces push against or reinforce one another. Toss a handful of gravel into a pond, and you can watch those chaotic, overlapping crashes happen in real time. This interaction, the collisions and the chaos, is how nature breaks out of simple repetition. It is the reason why a universe of basic ripples can eventually build the intricate, tangled patterns we see in everything from a snowflake to a shoreline. Here is our complete equation again. After walking through the 3 chapters, these symbols look far less intimidating. We can read it as a sentence, an action spreading over time and space, occurring across every scale, and constantly interacting with the world around it. That sequence of instructions applies to nearly everything we experience. It guides the electrical rhythm of a beating heart just as reliably as it maps the flow of people moving through a city. These instructions aren't locked away for specialists. This manual belongs to every audience, and its logic is meant to be understood by everyone. The next time you step outside and watch a raindrop strike a puddle, pay close attention to the splash. You are seeing the instructions of that manual take physical shape right in front of you. Understanding this equation changes how we observe the world. It shows us the vast distances of space, the atoms in our bodies, and our everyday moments are all following the same elegant language.